Modded.
Thing.
Right, g'day guys. Andy, we're back again with episode 26 of Show Me the Modded Thing. Hope you're having a good time. It is a beautiful summer, sunny day over here in Western Australia. And the fact that it's still spring means it's going to be a scorcher this year. Anyway, let's get on with things. So, the usual stuff. First thing, submissions are due by the 13th of the month. Show me the modded thing at gmail.com. Send them in. Tell your friends. And now, as I mentioned last movie, the winner of the competition has asked for a maelstrom, and I've actually started drawing that and filming the movie, and one of those will be up very soon, maybe within a few days. And at the moment it's quite funny because if I don't laugh I'm going to cry about it. So, moving on. First up we have Adam D. Right, now this one's one I've had in backup for a while. I'm just getting through to the last of them. And I hadn't read the email he sent with it. He says it's the world's best half-dark select fire strife, with a question mark. So at least he's modest. And he said, this is my most recent select fire strife. Can't even name everything it has, but I'll try. Select fire, single, triple or burst. The burst can be set to any, mine is set to 3. Band blaster's cage, adjustable FPS up to 200, adjustable rate of fire, auto rev when finger is sensed in trigger well. Now that's just next level, that's brilliant. Dart detection will not rev when you are out of dart. See attached video, and I'll put the video and you can have a look. This thing is gorgeous just as it is. Apart from the glaring problem with the Chris Magwell type thing, I'm not saying it's a problem for him, I'm saying it's a problem for me. I've just never liked the look, but that's me, I'm weird. But the colour is lovely. I really like a burgundy red, that's very, very nice. Immaculate paint job all done, but obviously Adam's forte is all this electronics. I mean, this is brilliant. He should produce kits and sell them for people. He'd make a fortune, because I'd buy a dozen straight up. But it's just so nicely done. And the Strife, a traditional great blaster, blows the new Nerf Strife out of the water, obviously, with all its bits and pieces. I mean, that's just really, really clever. I mean, he's obviously got way too much time on his hands, or he needs a girlfriend or something. But that's just so clever. I love it. You don't even have to put your finger on the rev trigger to get it to preliminary rev. That's just genius, genius. Very nicely done, Adam. Very nicely done. Send me one. All right, up next, we have Thirsty for Foam. And he said, this is a build for my buddy Jimmy Rowan. I don't usually take commissions, but when I do, I treat them like a personal bill. Hopefully that is a good thing. Of course it's a good thing. If you're going to take money off somebody, you've got to give them a good product, don't you? He says it's an Adventure Force Spectrum. Now, I remember when this came out, the Adventure Force Spectrum, it wasn't that long ago. People went gaga over it. They were quite happy with it, a lot of positives. Well, Thirsty for Foam's taken it to a 290-foot dual-stage band blasters, flared magwell, extended stock, cheek rest, colour top rail, battery cover, Talon mag adapter and short pusher. Lessen the spring tension on the trigger and rev for smoother action. Oh, that's pretty impressive. Cut polycarbonate sheet for the wheel window. Sliced motor cover for the front motors. AFG meant for Spectrum. Low profile reg trigger. All printed in red, purple, black multicolour filament. Most of the files are free files, some are purchased, all pieces attached with drilled holes and screws. I stay away from glue on builds if possible. Something we have in common. It's not that I stay away from glue, so I just don't trust some glues. You know, I'm not a great fan of super glue. Never had a lot of success with it, probably using it wrong. Yeah, this is gorgeous. I mean, straight off the top, orange, safe to play outside. I love the compact look of it, you know, no muzzle, no barrel. Ideal assault type weapon. Everything's fixed in place, nothing's going to fall off because of those screws, which is great. I haven't got an Adventure Force Spectrum. I'd love to get one, but finding them down here in Western Australia especially is not that easy. I'm sure they're around. I could order one mail order, but these days, you know what, postage is like, double the price of the thing. But this is really, really nice looking. He's done really good integration here. He's taken his time. The photo of the open body with the batteries and the wiring and everything, it looks so neat and clean. There's no great hacked bits of metal anywhere like I do. Very, very well done. And when it's together, the final image of it, it's just so pretty, so neat. It's something you'd see in Star Trek or something if it was painted up right. Nicely done. Very good work. Love it. Absolutely love it. Right, next up we have Darren R. And he says, my 8-year-old son just got a Nerf and this is my first attempt at modding a blaster. So, kids occupying your time again. Yeah, tell me about it. But this is very nicely done. As you can see from the original photo that he's included, he's got a Magnus there to go with it. And he's painted the same colour scheme. He's just used their colours, their paints as sort of a guide, which is perfectly fine. I've got no problem with that. It seems to have gone through a colour change from blue to green at one stage. Now he says the Longshot has a worker 9K spring kit and worker priming handle. All the locks, non-essential internals and air restrictors removed. Aluminium reinforced bolt sled. Oh, I wonder if he did that himself or it was an aftermarket he bought. The front grip is 3D printed from 3D printed solid, and if you look closely you can see the layer lines. But it looks fine, it's good. I left the jam door off so I could see where the dart was loaded and the open breech matches the Magnus. Okay, so obviously a companion piece. After screwing in the front grip, I've been able to remove it, and so originally tried to paint it by hand, but it wasn't happy with the result. Spent ages masking everything off, sprayed it. Weathering is a mix of Citadel washes and dry brushing. Yes, 3D printed parts can be a bit of a pain sometimes. If you've ever tried to screw a hole through one, you've got to do it really carefully. I've taken to actually melting my hole through first with a heated drill bit and avoiding drilling at almost all costs if I can. But this is really nicely done. The colouring's really good. Orange fronted stuff for safety and all that sort of thing. I particularly like the buttstock, the way he's done it in a grey. Possibly even a white with a dark wash, but it's really picked out the details. It looks really great. I mean, for a first time mod, perfect, no problems. It's really, really good. There's lots of things you can do, but it's up to personal preference how you want to finish something. And this is really good. For a first attempt, I'm pretty impressed. And I particularly like the weathering around the air vents at the hole in the worn metal. That's the sort of thing I like. It's really nicely done. Very clever. Right, guys, here we have one from Gary A. And for those of you who don't know or are new to the hobby, Gary A is the inventor of what I like to call the Ashby, which is basically a hyperfire jammed into the back of any other blaster, using its body shell to make it look so much better. And this is the case with this one, the ECS-10. I don't know how you guys feel about it or how Gary feels about it. I always thought it was a rather pedestrian looking blaster until I was inspired by what Gary did, and I christened it the Ashby, and it's a brilliant idea, and he's done something similar this time. He says, I've been kicking around the idea of a mini ECS like the mini Strifes I have done before. This involves modifying a Talon adapter and any mags you will use with this. I cut down a Talon adapter for this build as the ECS mag weld is too wide for the Talon on its own to fit, and I found the best alignment for the adapter was then to cut out a spot to allow the adapter and mags to use the mag stop from the blaster and glue the adapter in place. Then I extended the pusher a couple of millimeters to allow it to push the darts into the cage. The motor is a 42mm OFP Morpheus cage using Fang Rev motors and worker accurate wheels. Paint scheme is my take on Nerf Pro X and mocking it as I do with all the new Nerf lines these days. Yeah, I love the word moculus there. But this is just, again, gorgeous work from Gary. He just has a talent for these compact carbine looking blasters. I am just in awe of the work he does. He's all the photographs of his work, which I will show. Gary will happily show you images of all all the stuff he does on the side so you can do it yourself. Just ask him. He does really, really neat, clean work inside and out, and his paint jobs are just immaculate. You know, really nicely done stuff. Yeah, I'm just in awe of this stuff. Gary is a really talented modder, and he does really, really nice work, and always thinking outside of the box and pushing the envelope, so to speak, to get something more and better done. All right, next up. Right, guys, moving on. We've got something from Urban Foam Labs. Now, this fella actually has a website on Etsy where he sells blasters, and I was a little bit in a quandary whether I should be advertising other people's sites. You know, that's not what this channel was for. However, as stated on Get Off My Lawn the other day by Captain Xavier and Big Al, not everybody has the time, skills, even space to do mods, and they have to buy their own stuff. So fair enough, and in that sense I'm providing a link down below if you want to go and look at this guy's site. What he's got is showing here is one of them. They're all very nice clean sharp paint jobs. This is the Motoblitz, as you know, and he says it's custom painted, obviously, and very nice. I love black and red. 41mm daybreak cage, daybreak flywheels, 21 amp switch, and then I think his autocorrect went a bit crazy because I can't really make it out, so I'll just skip over that part. Extended pusher, XD connector for 2S LiPo, Bang revamp motors. That's about all I've got on the actual blaster. So very nicely done. I do like the Motoblitz now, especially seeing it in this colour scheme. I've never really been a big fan of it, even though it is a bullpup. But I mean, once it's painted up, it looks like I would definitely fit in a a homemade sci-fi show for sure. And it's got, I believe, a pump action shotgun-like thing under the front, which again, pretty cool. Yeah, I got to admit, it's growing on me, and he's done a nice job on this. It's very, very sharp, clean paint job, very neat, and yeah, and I particularly like the delineation of colours. How he's put the black on the barrel pretty much only, and the foregrip, and where the butt pad would be, and the extra piece, which is the scope on top, which I think is from the Nitron range, judging by its shape. Yeah, it's done a really good job. It really looks the part. Excellent, excellent work. Moving on. Right, this is an afterburner big shot from PapaBrunch, and he says, I built this during the COVID lockdown and actually serves as a prototype for my afterburner Centurion. I originally got the design from Tinkercad and printed off all the mega scale flywheel cage. Then I found that my motors wouldn't fit, so I cut off the motor housings. Then I found my 3D printed flywheels didn't fit, so I had to lop the top off the front of the cage too. Then I printed a Picatinny rail and created a battery box to hold the 3S LiPos. I've also replaced the 3D printed flywheels with worker flywheels, and now I can finally measure foot per second after building a chronograph designed by Foam Blasted. And my aftershock big shock is averaging 89 feet a second, which is quite impressive. He's even tweaked the battery box with an on-off switch and an internal 9-volt battery. And it looks so cute. Very much a trash can blaster, bits and pieces stuck all over it. You look really good in a wasteland type scenario. Very nicely done, and I like the bracket you've got there to hold the chronograph on top of the blaster while you're shooting. That's just genius. Again, very nicely done, mate. Very nicely done. The only downside, it's a single shot, I believe, and I assume you have to load it from the rear. I'm thinking by the look of it, it used to be a Springer, didn't it? Really. Now that I look into it, I'm getting more and more confused. But nice work, mate. Nice work. This is CoffinBlackMedia. I guess he has the slogan, if you're going to screw up really well. He says, this is an X-Shot turbo fire I managed to bugger up pretty badly. I lost some of the internals with a bit of help from our cats, who will just not stay off my workbench. Try a couple of mouse traps baited with sardines. There's an abyss under the workbench in which two blaster bits disappear, and once they've been sent flying. I have something with big red eyes that only comes out late at night that steals my blaster parts. I also botched the drum while attempting a half-dart conversion. Now it's a wall hanger, possibly a candidate for a Slyn Odison-style diorama. He says he'd like to see it as a cosplay prop, or maybe somebody can help you there. But fine, mate. It looks great. I love the weathering you do it and the wear and tear, especially on all the edges. I still haven't got anywhere near close to that good. Really, really nicely done. Nice, solid, simple colour scheme. Blue and metal. Gunmetal, I think it is. And even the way he's picked out the rounds in the front of the drum. Very nicely done. I might have to get one of these. I keep thinking that these, you know, X-Shots are really tinny and crappy and stuff, but once they're painted up, they look really, really good. He's done a really nice job of that. Okie dokie. Next up, we have, I believe it's Orwells Warning. And what he's got here is a Nerf rival charger. Borderlands video game cell shading with chrome base and weathering inspired paint job. What the weathering is he doesn't say, but okay. Montana spray paints, he seems to favour them. 20G rewire with XT60 connectors and two 3S LiPo batteries. Digital voltage meter connected to the rev switch. Raised battery door screws. Vinyl sticker logo. And we even have a video of it running, and I've toned down the sound because it's quite loud, but I assure you it's pretty good. Look at this. Love the way the little numbers flash there. Not sure how useful would that be during play, you know, having to look at the speed of the rev speed, but yeah, it's still a cool little thing, isn't it? But yeah, he does some really nice work. I like the way the weathering's really heavy on the front body part, and again his signature hexagonal. I'm assuming it's some sort of stick-on stencil he uses. I'll have to see if I can source one from somewhere because it looks quite good. Nicely done, mate. Nicely done. Last up, we have... who's this from? This is from... Oh, yes, Roland D. Now, when I saw this, it reminded me of why I don't particularly like the Motoblitz. I couldn't see it in the other photos, but this one you can. That silly, moulded-in ripple effect on the body of the blaster. It just doesn't work for me. Don't like it, but this one is great. He says... Here is the Motoblitz that I've done. I removed the shotgun part and added a grip, made it usable by a trigger pull. One of the original buttons can still be used. Applied a steampunkish paint job, dart hole on top for a one quick reload. No internal mods except some vent holes glued shut. So that's what he calls the Blitz. Now, that's great, that's alright. No problems with that except for that silly plastic moulding, but that's just me. But what he's done as well is taken the other part of the blaster. Okay, now here's the other part of the project, which he calls the Moto. He removed the shotgun part, moved the scope down to function as a barrel, added a front handrest using a retaliator shoulder stock piece, which is really clever. I'll have to look into that. Internally it's just a simple 2S setup, fangs, blaster part, smooth wheels, 2-stage trigger. And added some black paint to a few spots to make it look good, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I love it. It's like a bullpup pistol. I'm definitely going to hunt up a Motoblitz, tear it apart, throw away the front and do this. Very nicely done, mate. Very nicely done. Impressed. Yes, keep them coming, keep them coming. Okay guys, that's it for now. Just keep an eye on my channel. In a few days I'll be posting a video in the hopes of getting some more subscribers, and I'm going to follow the influencer trend of doing something outrageously inappropriate and probably getting banned from YouTube for life. But stay tuned for that. See ya.